Welcome in to the CHGO Bears Podcast. That's right. We do not take days off at CHGO Bears. It feels like a holiday.
I'm already jumping in. I'm taking tomorrow off.
Can you let me finish the sentence and say I am also lying to you because, of course, tomorrow on the 4th, we will be taking the day off. But there's a lot of people not working on the 3rd. CHGO Bears right here for you with a live show. True, the mansion is off in mansion land, probably doing mansion-esque things. And Greg Braggs is still recovering from his fireworks escapade. So, wow, the mansion checking in the mansion. Late, not Hoge's fault today. For those of you listening in the audio space, got that mansion. I remember when you told me the audio space doesn't see the chats. Adam Hoge is live somewhere watching the show, which I got to be honest, that means his vacation is not going as according to plan, because watching us right now, although very relaxing on a 4th of July weekend, I thought the mansion would be doing something. Gary Ross is here. Let's rock and roll. Nick, how are you, buddy? Let me let you speak. So I'll shut up. Hi, Cassie. How are you? I love seeing everybody on the 3rd. This is it's warming the cockles of my heart. How? Yes.
I'm great, Mark. It's awesome seeing everyone kind of hang out on this July 3rd before everyone goes on to their festivities. And anytime you can get an Adam Hoge on some beach somewhere in Minnesota tuning in, I think that's a win for us. We won before we even got into any of our Bears content today.
Well, Hoge has, for the record, he has video evidence of me at the Dave Matthews Band that I don't necessarily need out there. Hoge also now saying, already played 18 today. Great morning. Don't miss you. I believe everything about that.
Yes. Yep.
That is it feels incredibly accurate. But I was at Dave Matthews Thursday night up in Milwaukee, and perhaps it had one too many somethings, and or actually a perfect amount of somethings. And I was really, when they did the Beatles, I want you so bad. Nick, I was grooving. I was there. I was feeling it. The eyes were closed, and I was in another land, and I really enjoyed it. So just to let you know, I enjoyed my weekend. I hope you did too.
Yeah, no, for sure. Is there any video evidence of that, Mark? You maybe keep that to yourself, maybe, but I think that would be lovely to see at some point.
There is. I may. I will perhaps send it to Lawrence before the end of the show as a kicker here. We have a lot to cover. There's a new rule change that you want to talk about here, Nick. Matt Eberflus is on a little bit of blast from CBS Sports and their coaching rankings, which we'll touch on. And then I do have a free agent that I've got my eye on as well that I was excited about when I started to do the research this morning. And then by the end of it, I was like, I don't know. I think we might have to pass, but we'll get to that. But why don't you wanted to talk about rule change 7.6B4964, which is number 12 in your book. So let me cede the floor, if you will. Lead us to the promised land of why this was something that was on your mind this morning.
Yeah, so what Mark is talking about here is proposal number 12, amend Rule 8, Section 7, Article 4, handing the ball forward. And I want to bring this up today, you guys, because I saw some Bears fans, I wouldn't say freaking out about it, but kind of a little bit concerned of how this can impact the Bears in the RPO game. And the rule is as followed: handing the ball forward. No player may hand the ball forward except to an eligible receiver who is behind the line of scrimmage. The penalty for doing so, for handing ball forward beyond the line of scrimmage or into an ineligible receiver behind the line of scrimmage, loss of down and 5 yards from the spot of the foul. Now, this is yes.
Please.
So basically, I think that how you read this rule, there's a very important part of it that I think some people are kind of overlooking here, but it's not going to really impact the Bears or teams that love to use the RPO. But it's the last part of it. If they break this rule and they're not behind the line of scrimmage, then that's where this rule will come into effect. So if you're running an RPO, Mark, Justin Fields is going to be behind the line of scrimmage. Khalil Herbert, Deontay Foreman. So that mesh point, they're not going to get penalized if Deontay Foreman is maybe a yard ahead of when Justin Fields maybe will let go of the ball and have the running back run with it. Where I could see this maybe being an issue, like where this can actually impact maybe sometimes, is where if you're running like a speed option out to the right side, Justin Fields running with the ball, Herbert's the pitch man. And then once a defender commits to Fields, he'll hand the ball off, and that's forward. Then that could be an issue. But really, I think that's the most important part about it, because I saw Doug in the comments earlier before even the show started. Well, are they going to make this a penalty if he hands off the ball? No, because if you do it behind the line of scrimmage, it's eligible. So there was a thread on Twitter. I think it got deleted because I think whoever initially created it was like, oh, wait, maybe this is not big of an issue. But that's not going to be an issue for the Bears and how they run their offense and how they are going to hand the ball off and use Justin Fields as a piece in the run game. So all this confusion, I think it's a little, if you just look at the last sentence behind the line of scrimmage, it really clears up the air of how this will really not impact what the Bears like to do. And there are some stats to kind of follow here real quickly, Mark, before I let you jump in. But the Bears love to use their RPO game. They had 110 RPOs in 2022. That ranked tied for 14th in the NFL. The league average is 107. Panthers and Packers ran the most with 220. Raiders with the fewest with 16. Shout out to David for sending me those stats from stats from PFF. But when you look at how this rule, this new one that's going to be in place in 2023, it's not going to really impact how the Bears run their offense and what they like to do.
So I'm totally with RM, by the way, in the chat. There's just what the NFL needed, more convoluted rules. And maybe this is not as convoluted. I saw Doug was confused by it. I'm still confused by it a little bit after hearing you say it. But I think if we're going to put this in layman football terms, if Justin Fields is in front, if he's crossed the line of scrimmage, let me say it like that, he cannot hand the ball off to a running back past the line of scrimmage. That's what this means, correct?
Yeah, basically. And you're not going to see a lot of plays like that. That's
so that, right. And so that never happens. And so our offense is fine, and we're about to win the Super Bowl, correct?
I mean, if you connect the dots there, Mark, I mean, we're going in the right direction for sure.
Okay, so but you woke up this morning and you had some level of concern and wanted to discuss this. So are you in a different spot right now at 12:08 after Nicholas Moreano got up and worked out at Bears Fit and dominated the world? Do you feel more complete that this is not a big deal for the Bears at this point than you did early this morning?
Yeah, I think my concern was that people were concerned about this. So I wanted to just clear the air here with this new rule, how it's going to not impact everybody. But it's obviously the Bears love using those RPOs, and that's where people in that initial thread that was now since been deleted, we're kind of confused about, like, how is Justin Fields going to get penalized? He's not. It's all good. The Bears are still going to run their offense, and I think the Bears are going to utilize a lot of those RPOs. Wrote an article for ALLCITY last week that Justin Fields still needs to be a part of this run game. The RPO is a way to utilize him while also giving him the option to obviously pass or keep it himself if the defense kind of, how the defense is playing. But I think this is going to be something that will not impact the Bears offense. And for people that were concerned on that, Sunday night, clear the air here. Bears are going to be just
okay. Fine. So I got it. Nick is here to provide comfort for you, the Bear fan, on this July 3rd, that do not worry. Justin Fields and the Bears are not going to be getting penalized for handing the football off like they're going to do a whole lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Got it. Done and done. All right. Should we talk about the head coach for a second? What do you think? Is that
it was an interesting position that CBS Sports had him in, what you said in our Slack channel there, Mark.
CBS Sports comes out today, all right? And here it is on the screen. Head coaching rankings. Andy Reid is number 1. And as you can see on the headline on YouTube, John Harbaugh has cracked the top 10. But the Flus is bringing up the rear. Bottom of the barrel in the NFL, Matt Eberflus of your Chicago Bears. And as they, write it here, it's not all Eberflus's fault. He debuted with a stripped down roster. But if you're gonna, and as I put on my glasses here, be a defensive head coach in today's NFL, you prefer not to shepherd one of the league's worst units on that side of the ball. A big leap from quarterback Justin Fields would help. All right. Okay, CBS NFL. Number one, I don't like to go at anybody in the media space because we're all, blind squirrels trying to find a nut, trying to make a living, and all opinions are welcome here. But just to quibble with you, so 31 is Jonathan Gannon, first year with Arizona, first ever as a head coach. You want Jonathan Gannon over the Flus? I don't know what you're basing that on. Josh McDaniels, has he not been a nightmare everywhere he's gone? You feel comfortable with Josh McDaniels? I mean, let's keep on going, and I'll jump ahead in their rankings. Are we really saying that DeMeco Ryans is instantly better than the Flus? How do you base that? Shane Steichen of the Colts is better than the Flus. All these first year head coaches who've never been head coaches are better than the Flus. And then, if I want to go like history, guys, would I rather have number 19 Mike McCarthy or Matt Eberflus? I'm taking the Flus, man. What has Mike McCarthy proven since he's left Green Bay? Absolutely damn ass nothing. So I got it that Matt Eberflus hasn't proved anything yet. But I'm looking for a little nuance here, man. And I'm also looking to defend my guy. And yes, I'm not exactly sure. Nobody is what the Flus is. But damn it, CBS Sports, you are not going to put the Flus 32nd and get away with it on CHGO Bears. We will fight back on that. That is unfair. The Flus didn't do anything wrong last year. He created a culture. The hits principle is in place. The Bears played hard. The locker room was awesome. He did everything he possibly could with that roster. And he made the smart decision of not playing Justin Fields last week of the season. Bears got the number 1 overall pick. Bears, Flus. I ain't putting him last in the NFL. I don't think it's fair.
Yeah, Mark, and look, not to pick apart like what they wrote about Flus, but they said he shouldn't take the blame, but he also should take the blame. It's like a contradiction. It's like a Starburst, solid but juicy. And, you get both sides of this. So you never heard that one, Mark? They used to run commercials all the time about the Starburst. It's like a contradiction. It's solid.
We might need a little bit of Lawrence here, but I don't know where the burst is in the Starburst. There's no juice that flows. It's just a nasty, disgusting.
Nasty.
Yeah. I'm out on Starburst, but
I enjoy. I want Starburst.
I don't know. It's an amazing reference by Moreano. Love the reference, but I could
good reference, Nick. That's true, but I mean. I don't know how they got
Starburst guy. Okay.
I mean, the pink Starburst is good. I'll give it up. I can appreciate it. I just don't like when I eat this.
Oh, maybe it's Sour Patch Kids. They're sweet and sour. Is that what it is? Maybe I just butchered all. It's a candy. Wow.
I think you got it right.
I have no idea.
I'm looking up Starburst contradiction right here. I don't know. Well, that's what the explanation was. Sorry, I butchered it with the wrong candy. Love Sour Patches though. But yeah. I think with Flus, would you have liked to have seen the defense play better under a guy that was known as, being a defensive guy in Indy? Of course you would have liked to see that. Of course you didn't want to see him be historically bad in the run game, be ineligible, trying to get to the opposing quarterback and, not be able to make a stop when it really counted. No duh. But I think now Flus is in a much better position. Still needs a couple of guys on defense to show what he and Alan Williams are capable of. And to what you were saying earlier, Mark, how you could put some of these first-year head coaches above him. What you said? What are you basing that on? And I know he only won 3 games in his first year, but we all expect that number to jump up this season. Like the Cardinals can be easily the worst team in the league this upcoming season. That'll be on Gannon and, whatever's going on in Arizona. So not quite in agreement there with CBS and how they kind of base their rankings.
I would have written it like this. Matt Eberflus did absolutely nothing in his first year to either A, distinguish himself or B, knock himself down to somebody who's incapable of being a head coach in the NFL. Eberflus did create a culture in Chicago and the feelings in that locker room by 100% account from have dramatically changed from the Nagy Pace era, and the Bears actually seem like they're headed in the right direction with a young core and a quarterback that is finally being put in a position to win. The year started slow with Justin Fields. This will be a longer writing than what CBS Sports. The year started slower with Justin Fields, but in the middle of the season, the quarterback that they absolutely had to unlock showed signs of being the dominant player in the NFL. The Bears are absolutely hoping that he would be. Running the football like we've never seen in the NFL, with the exception of Lamar Jackson. Fields also looks like he's going to be more durable than Lamar, considering his size and strength and his ability to bowl would-be tacklers over. So throw that in the pot and smoke it. As for the defense, which you would have expected for Matt Eberflus to be a whole lot better, you can simply look at that defense and wonder how in the world could you ever expect to succeed when you cannot get to the quarterback. Eberflus, once they traded their best player, Roquan Smith, his defense did unlock an undrafted free agent by the name of Jack Sanborn, a.k.a. the Sand God, who's making names around Chicago like you would not believe. Eberflus is on a path to where the Bears might actually have a head coach that might not be at the top of the NFL food chain, but very much will be comfortably in the middle, which is exactly what the Bears were looking for when they made the hire. Sincerely, at the Carm.
That was very well said, Mark. That's a clip. That's a clip. That's what that is. But you know what? Just to add to your point here too, like the mini buy that maybe Luke Getsy gets a lot of credit for after the Bears kind of structure their offense to be more get Fields on the move. It's going to help him in the pass and the run. That's also going to be on Flus too. Like he's in all those offensive rooms as well. So it's not just, you can't give all the credit to Luke Getsy, Andrew Janocko, and everybody on that side, because the head coach is just as much involved in all that stuff, how to put his quarterback in the best position possible. So adjustments, that was something that I think you could put on the plus side for Eberflus, especially in the middle of the season when the Bears are scoring 28 points a game for that month stretch. So that's also another thing that I don't think was taken into account with how Flus was able to get the most of out of what he had, which wasn't much at the time.
And by the way, the comment right before the current one, and Snowball, appreciate what you're saying here too. Who cares what CBS thinks last year was not at all Flus for? And Carm has a point. So the way Snowball's writing that, it's like the first time he thinks I've ever had a point, but I'm with you, Snowball. What have D'Amico or other new coaches done to get a higher ranking? This is nonsense. Right. And look, to what you're just saying there, Nick, the Flus showed a willingness, a want to be involved in all parts of the operation like you would want a head coach to be. And he also empowered his defensive coordinator and his offensive coordinator to do their jobs and did not overrun them. So, I mean, do we want to go back to the Nagy era? No offense, Nagy, if you're in there, but one day he's the offensive coordinator, the next day he's not, then he is, then he's we didn't have any of that last year. I mean, there could have been conversation when the defense was struggling. Eberflus is hinting he may take over for, and start calling the plays for Allen. He didn't do that. He's not doing that. And Nagy, you're funny with the what's an adjustment in the chat. That's my guy. I'm very excited, by the way, that Nagy and me are officially Twitter friends. Yeah. So look, I just let's defend the Flus's honor here, man. Flus is done fine. Flus can be better. I do look at it too, like, if we're gonna be harsh about this, there are a lot of awful good NFL coaches, man. They got Andy Reid 1, Kyle Shanahan 2, Bill Belichick 3, Sean McVay 4. John Harbaugh was ranked 5th. Mike Tomlin, they put 6th. I would dispute that highly. That's way too low for Tomlin. Sean McDermott 7, Sean Payton 8th, Pete Carroll. I know we all know the names here, but it's like, man, Doug Peterson did a great job with the Jaguars. They put him 10th. Mm-hmm. They got LaFleur 11th. Nick Sirianni is 12th. I mean, to actually have an upper-level head coach in the NFL, you got to be pretty damn ass good. A lot of good coaches out there, man. So
Nick Sirianni was 12th on that list too?
Yep.
Obviously, the Eagles are just in the Super Bowl. That's, right. That goes to show like what this the hierarchy of coaches, who's at the top, and what you need to do to be. I think the biggest thing is consistency. That's why I see Andy Reid, Bill Belichick. They do it year in, year out. Their teams are always going to be competitive. Look, Flus hasn't obviously had the opportunity to do that. It was his first year last year. This is a big year to show what he can do with an improved roster on both sides of the ball. So we'll see where where Flus can take this Bears team and under his leadership with, the coaches that he trusts on his staff, what they can do now that they have an improved roster with, quarterback going to his third year.
Lawrence, did you get the video I sent or not? And if you did, I'm just curious if you think that
What
it's
video?
suitable.
Hold
Okay.
on. What are we talking about here?
It should be
Oh.
in Bears. Yeah. But
Yeah,
so
I'll look at that maybe for like end of the show. It's only 20 minutes.
So I know. I just wanted to know that you had it, and I want you to review it if you think it is suitable for air. And if you don't think so, I'm completely fine with not playing it. But just wanted to have that conversation. So thank you so much. I appreciate that because I have sometimes Lawrence has better decisions with these things than I do, and this one would be protecting me if we don't play it. So there's that. Get fitted out in the best sports gear around: hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. It's spring and baseball season. I was at Wrigley Field on Friday night. There was a 3-hour delay, and the Cubs didn't score. That was awesome. It is baseball season, though, so there's the Aloha shirts, there's straw hats, there's polos, there's bags, there's everything you need for a game. And yes, when we are in studio, our set decorations, FOCO has donated some of those awesome pieces that you see. Of course, we're remote today, but FOCO does an awesome job helping us out, looking good. Check out FOCO.com or click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use that promo code CHGO for 10% off.
And after you check out FOCO, you have to check out Shady Rays, you guys. You can take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn here at CHGO. They have durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. And what's awesome, if you lose or break your shades, even on day one, Tilts will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Wear Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is going to give you the best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades are rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
Over 250,000 people, Shady Rays. All right. Let us talk about what happened this weekend. Nick, did you come down to the city for NASCAR?
I did not. Nope.
Nick, did you even think about coming down to the city for NASCAR?
No. I'm going to be completely honest here, Mark. I did not.
Nick, did you think it was a good idea that the city of Chicago hosted a NASCAR event right in the middle of the downtown streets in beautiful Michigan Avenue and upset traffic and bring in people from all over the world to enjoy NASCAR?
Yeah, I could care less, honestly, Mark.
Okay. So I for the record was against it. But I have a firsthand account from somebody who went that I'm going to read, and I think it was actually a very outstanding job by a friend of mine who's also a listener to the show. We'll get to that in a second. But Lawrence, do we have the gentleman start your engines Justin Fields announcement? I don't know if everybody has seen this, but Justin was there. He was the guy. He got the honor, and this is how it sounded.
Chicago drivers, start your engines. Chicago drivers, start your engines.
So I don't want to go with QB1, and QB1 is QB chill. But he gave it his all. What's up, Chicago drivers? Start your engines. Like, he's just not a hype guy. That's not his role. That's not I don't know who we should have busted out there, but I don't know, Nick. I think I wanted a little bit more from QB1. This is a QB1 failure here, chat. I don't know if you guys feeling this, but QB1 came up a little bit lame with the start of your engines, and then he just dropped the mic and said nothing. Come on, QB1. We this is right. Bragg's in the stands. Back apparently he made it back from his big party Friday night at the fireworks. Terrible. Now I'm concerned for camp. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not, but I'm assuming he's being serious. Gary Ross could have been more enthusiastic. He didn't want to be there. bad job by QB1, right?
It was, look, it lacked energy, no doubt. But I think Lawrence brought up a pretty good point before we went live today, saying, like, how long was Fields actually there for? Because it got delayed. It was raining. He's there. And then that moment happens. He just didn't reach his, that level of energy that you usually see when that, start your engines gets said. But I'm going to push back on, like, when there are videos sent out about him with his teammates, he's obviously got the message already in his head, how he's going to articulate it to his teammates. It sounds a lot better than that. I think there was a one pregame speech that he had before the Atlanta Falcons game, like going back home to play in Georgia for the Falcons. That one I think sticks out to me in terms of what a Fields hype speech can sound like. And look, it's NASCAR. Like I was saying, like I could care less. Maybe that's what Fields thinks about it, but it didn't match the energy that you usually see when someone says that moment, for sure.
And Cassie's bringing up a great point. He was nervous, Carm. Did you see the video of him practicing? And he was. But that's the thing. Like, Cassie, he's this QB1. This is a nothing thing. You own this. You don't need to practice. Start your damn ass engines. Now, for the record, if they had asked me to do it, my energy level would not have been super high. It would have been, gentlemen, get the hell out of our city. Not for the NASCAR ruining up my neighborhood. So, Braggs is now underlining, the rain fatigue. And also, to your point, he does have his moments where I think, listen, he's a leader in that locker room. They respect the Fields thing. But let me read you this because I was, in my friend group here was kind of, just asking how the people that went, if they enjoyed it or not. And then I get this text, and it's a kumbaya moment for you right now, everybody. So here we go. After the rain stopped, the people and atmosphere was inspired. Everyone was in a great mood. Now he's projecting there because he was in a great mood, but perhaps maybe it seemed like everyone was in a great mood, happy to be there, decked out in NASCAR gear, yelling in joy at the cars whizzing by and exclaiming in excitement at the crashes. The sun was setting, the skies were clear, the skyline was majestic. Can you believe this is a real tweet, by the way? I am not kidding you. And to be a part of something new, this is where my guy Brian goes into it. And to be a part of something new and innovative in my neighborhood, lives in the South Loop, where I lived for 9 years, was for sure a highlight. I was proud to have Chicago's finest attributes, I'm getting emotional, our sports, food, the lake, our parks, and our innovative grit on display for the national NASCAR crowd watching on NBC. In a moment when Chicago is a political football and all of our problems are exaggerated for cheap political points, last night was a strong counter argument. Last night showed why Chicago is a great city, and it invited all to partake in our wonder. One of my friends exclaimed, "Wow, you get Taylor Swift and NASCAR." And this is his writing, so I'm just going to continue. My conservative downstate nephew who attended texted me nonstop his highlights of the race and also enthusiasm about his dinner last night at the Gage, which is on Michigan Avenue, where he sat and his friend sat at a table next to Kyle Busch, and breakfast this morning at Wildberry, a breakfast that left him immovable in pleasure. Anyone who roots against this sort of courageous innovation and expansive welcome is small-minded. Our city's broad shoulders got to be witnessed and adored by more people last night, and I'm all for it. I got some feels with this one. That's right, baby. Chicago was on display for a lot of people who perhaps don't, know the city, speak well of the city, don't understand the city, if we're being honest about it. Hey, that's a good thing. Not that we have anything to defend, for the record. The world's a crazy place, but I did like that text. I'll just say that. So go NASCAR. I'm not saying we need to bring it back, but I think there were some wins had this weekend. That's my point.
For sure. I think and we even had a really good tweet from our CHGO Sports account that showed, the race, and you see the Chicago skyline in the background, and it's an amazing just image and video when you're seeing the cars racing down, but also the beautiful skyline in the back. I also did see that, like any sporting event, prices are going to be inflated to the max. They had a Goose Island. Love the Goose Island. You want a 6-pack of beer? It's $69 for a 6-pack of beer. I mean, crazy stuff here, but it was different. It didn't invite a completely different audience.
Hold on. That's $10 a beer.
Still,
you're paying like $15 at Wrigley. That's actually not a big deal.
That's $11.50 a beer. 69 times 6.
Oh, I thought I heard 60.
69. Didn't he say 69?
69.
Oh, that's nice.
But for a goose, but to Lawrence's point, $11.50 for a goose. There, it's 13 at Wrigley. So
that's very true.
But saving per beer.
That is
$9.50 for a 6-pack.
Save your money when you can. But it was I think for people who had never been introduced to NASCAR, and that's me still. I did not attend or go. It was a nice introduction to seeing something completely different in the streets of Chicago. So I think that is something that it did have its wins, but like you, Mark, if it comes back, still don't know if I'll attend.
Yeah, no, I got it. And listen, I've been to the Speedway and as a vendor back in the day, and used to sell beer out there. And beer wasn't cheap back then; it's a lot more money now. And I experienced things at that particular event each year that I did not experience at any other sporting event. But I'll leave it at that. But it sounds like this one was a win for those that went. And as far and for the record, I mean, I live in the South Loop. I was not really inconvenienced at all. It was a little extra, but for all the terror that I was having about what this was going to be, it really actually didn't turn out to be much. So, City of Chicago, congratulations, well done. All right, we'll get this. There's some other Bears news with Fields coming up that I'm actually excited to see and speak of. I know everybody else is too, and we also have my free agent eyes, which we're going to do a lot of coming on here, because we know at some point here the Bears are going to add some help. I think we can all feel comfortable about that. But it hasn't happened yet. So I'm spending my downtime just doing deep dives on who's available. But what's also available is some Goose Island beer for you this holiday weekend. CHGO is supported by the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer since 1988. The beer roster is dynamic. The Goose IPA, the Tropical Beer Hug, the 312 Wheat Ale, the Full Pocket Pills. Everyday beer is that Full Pocket Pills, what the brewers are drinking. I'm been downing myself some 312 Wheat Ale. Grab an ultra-fresh brewery-exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or head on over to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Great location. Love them both. Goose Island Beer Company, that would be Chicago's beer.
Gotta love the Goose, and I'm sure I'll be drinking some later today when I go hang out with some family. If you're going to see your family, you got to tell them about the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, everybody, which is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future.
You damn right, Nick. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across the territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes.
Mark, how does all of that exactly work?
Nick, you should know this by now, but let me remind you, an authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. It can be done in person or virtually, and it does last about 2 hours. Within 3 or 4 weeks, customers get a free report detailing energy efficiency projects they can start working on immediately. And in each recommendation, it does include your savings, the energy savings, your cost savings, your project costs, potential incentives, and the simple payback. If you do own a business, do not wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
And I know I heard it right, Mark, but I need to hear you say it again. And was that ComEd.com/poweringbiz?
You bet your sweet bippy, Nick. ComEd.com/poweringbiz. Schedule it today.
And as everyone knows, we just talked about ComEd, but the CHGO Bears offseason coverage is brought to you by the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program. You can learn more at comed.com/poweringbiz.
Okay, let us go to the Maine South Hawks football team. And can we get this tweet up here, Lawrence, of Justin Fields, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney going to Maine South and just getting it going, man. There's ripped QB1 with the shirt off, getting it done. There's ripped Darnell Mooney. I mean, come on now. We are looking real. We are looking excited. We are looking like this is it's a good scene here. That I mean, there is one guy that's missing, Chase Claypool, but there was some good news on Claypool that we'll get to a second. I don't know, man. Mooney looks healthy to me, ready to go. Good to see that he's getting back on that field. I thought that's obviously the highlight of this tweet.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I also give a shout out to Darnell Mooney's cleats. He's wearing the Jordan 1 Vapor Edge cleats, and I actually almost bought those for no reason. I would have bought those, but they are just a really good pair of cleats there. But yeah, the good thing is that Darnell Mooney's out there, and he looks jacked. Like, he looks a lot bigger than he was looking last season. And it's good that he's getting that chemistry, that camaraderie with his guys. And you're almost seeing what the top targets out there, minus Chase Claypool right now. But I think that's obviously encouraging as we're kind of looking at, the top playmakers are out there putting the work out on, at Maine South. And real quickly, Maine South always whooped our ass at walking, like every single year. Every single year we played them. It was an ass whooping. But it's good to see that the Bears are getting some work done on that field too.
I mean, can you imagine if you're Maine South and Fields calls you up, hey guys, or the trainers, whatever. It's hey, can we use your field? We got a couple of Bears who want to come out there, and then all of a sudden you got Maine South football players perhaps hanging around or getting word that Justin Fields and Darnell Mooney are on their field getting stuff done. That's awesome. Trivia question, not a trivia question, as we focus in on. I mean, Mooney, dude, I don't know how much is, if you're watching live on YouTube right now, I mean, he is ripped. Shirts off, chest is huge, arms are huge, shoulders look like, I mean, Jesus, is that 10 pounds of muscle right there? He did not look like that. I don't know how much he's completely flexing and whatever's going on there, but that is a dude that is on another level.
That's a guy that I think has a lot to prove this upcoming season, 2023. And, as long as he can still move as fast as he does with all that muscle mass now on him, I think you have a new and improved Darnell Mooney. But he, like Gary Ross, he's a DK Metcalf now, a smaller version of that guy. And so I think that's a good thing. Hopefully that, also helps him stay healthy on the field. He's going to take some shots if he's playing more in the middle of the field in that slot position. You're going to be susceptible to some hits, and having some more muscle mass can, definitely help you in the long run.
And Gary's also making another point. It would be cool to see, by the way, video of him sprinting all around and cutting hard and looking healthy, which we do not have. But that's obviously the hope. And if he's practicing with them, then this is a bottom line good sign. Trivia question or prediction. Let me try that again. Who will end up being the Bears' number 2 wide receiver this year? Is everybody, because of that picture and because of his history with Justin Fields and having one season over 1,000 yards, is everybody anticipating that Mooney will be that guy? Or do we think that Chase will somehow, some way find his way and be that dude? Or is anybody willing to go wild card? Don't believe that Mooney's going to be healthy, and I'm going to pick, I don't know, Tyler Scott, EQ, Dante Pettis. Those would be your choices right now. I mean, it seems like an obvious choice that it's Mooney, but I'm also, there is that Mooney health concern.
Yeah, and if we're saying that Mooney is going to be healthy and start week 1, I think the logical answer is to go to Darnell Mooney. Just again, given that he's got more chemistry than Chase Claypool has with him. He's put up some yards in the league before, and I think going back to the slot, and obviously they'll have versatility in their offense. They're going to line up on the outside, mix it up to keep defenses honest, but that's where he worked best out of that would be 2020. So I think that's going to be a time for Darnell Mooney to still show that he can be an impactful receiver in this league. So I think it's not the no-brainer answer, but even if Chase Claypool, everything clicks, I don't know if I see him being the number 2 in all honesty.
Yeah. So you're saying with that answer that you're still worried that we don't actually have one. Like we've got a 1 and then we've got a bunch of
Darnell Mooney's 2. I'll say Darnell Mooney's number 2 for me.
Okay.
I'm good with saying that right now.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I guess just the noise that I've heard around his injury has me concerned that we'll just have a 1 and then a bunch of whatever. But let's give, because people. I got a couple of tweets coming at me. Now, what you gonna say about Chase Claypool, Carm? Look, he was doing great stuff in London. He wasn't just doing a fashion show. He was actually out there giving back to kids, teaching football and promoting the game and doing exactly what you would like a professional athlete to do. So that was absolutely positively cool to see with Chase. But just, for the record here, and he tweeted out, unfortunately, it doesn't fit the narrative. It was a privilege to teach these kids the game of football and watch their love for the sport grow. Thank you to the Chicago Bears and the NFL for making it happen. Can't wait for next year. And then Chase Claypool representing the Bears in the UK, helping grow the game. He retweeted, where are the articles about this? And then he's pushing back. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit the narrative. Hey, man, like, I like the fact that you use what you use in life to motivate you. If the narrative around Chase is bothering Chase and he's going to use that to push himself to greater heights, that's awesome. My narrative with Chase is, first of all, I think the guy's a good dude. I never have thought that, like, off the field when we've talked to him as a guy, period, that Chase is nothing but likable. That's how he was last year with the Bears. But you also experienced a guy who, and listen, if you're highly productive and you're emotional in the moment, well, there's a lot of those guys who have had success in the league and have learned to control their emotions throughout time better, but have still been very productive. Chase wasn't productive last year with the Bears. There's a lot of reasons for that. It's fine. But he did not have a good season once he got here, period, end of story. And, he got a little dinged up in minicamp, which doesn't have to be a big deal, but it is worth noting. And, we've got pictures of Darnell Mooney and Justin Fields doing that, and Chase is doing other things. But maybe he's working out a ton. I don't know. All I'm saying is, like, we are waiting to see it on the field with Claypool. And I think if any level of skepticism that he can be the guy that they traded for is perfectly fair right now. I don't see how you're not skeptical on what Claypool's going to be. And I hope, for those who are not and think that he's going to be great, I hope you're right. I hope he's great. I hope there's a huge argument at the end of the year between who was the true number 2 between Claypool and Mooney, because they were both great. That would be amazing. That would mean the Bears have won a lot of football games. But we have not seen it, and I am skeptical if we are ever going to see it.
Mark, that's like the best case scenario. Who's the number 2 wide receiver after both these receivers hopefully have productive seasons in Mooney and Claypool. But look, the longer we go without actual football being played, let's go to even training camp, there's still going to be skepticism because we're still not seeing Claypool being on the football field. Maybe if you post some workouts, things like that, it'll clear up some air. But yeah, it didn't go well in his first season. He's been a little hurt, the things with Detroit. So for now, I think, whatever happens from now until training camp, it's going to be forgotten if Chase Claypool's able to go out there week 1 and be productive against Green Bay Packers. Like, it'll just be washed away. And then you hopefully see him continue doing that. But yeah, I think this is the point of the season where there's not much happening. You have to, think about everything that's, not football related and see how it impacts a narrative like Chase Claypool was saying. But I think once we come to training camp, he's healthy enough to be productive, go out there and make plays for Justin Fields. We're going to start to forget about these other little things as long as we're seeing production.
Leroy Pinkston in the chat. Claypool will be our top receiver in touchdowns. Leroy, you reach out to me after the season, and if that happened, I will hook you up with some merch. As I did with Barosaurus Rex after a couple of misconnections. But I got Barosaurus Rex. I finally got my guy. It took
Great
a couple
name.
of I had forgotten about it, and then we finally got it done, and he got his stuff. I assume never completely confirmed that with me, but that's okay. No problem, Barosaurus Rex. I got you. Apologize for the slight delay, but you, Pinkston, you come after me if that happens. I will bet that's I will bet that of the receivers. I'll take DJ Moore on that one all day. Damn it.
You know, okay, not to like get too into the weeds about touchdowns here, but
I know
DJ. The one like stat about DJ Moore is that he actually isn't the most effective at scoring touchdowns. I think that if I'm looking at that right, we can look it up on the fly right now. But
I got you. Keep going with.
Yeah, in terms of like how like he was again. This in Carolina with about 6 different quarterbacks. It seems like his touchdowns are not. I mean, he's got 21 in his career, 7, 4, 4, 4, and 2.
7 last year. He's trending up.
He's trending up. There you go.
That's fine. I'm not. Listen, he's not a big body receiver. You could throw a lot of jump balls in the end zone to Claypool, and maybe that'll be exactly how this goes. And Pinkston will be our victory, and I will be happy to hook him up. But listen, he had 9 touchdowns in 2020. Then he had 2 in 21, and he had 1 in 22. I'll take DJ Moore.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't. It's to what he could be. That would be awesome. It's possible, but there we go. Look at my guy Barosaurus Rex. I'm now getting confirmation that we did get the shirt. All right, that's what I'm talking about. See, Barosaurus is out there. That's my guy. And again, it's on me. I was a little bit. My organization could have been a little better. That shirt should have come earlier. But he ended up getting 2 shirts because upper management took care of him too. And then I was like, well, I can't be the guy that just dropped the ball. So I got to send Barosaurus another shirt out of the old Karma pocket because I'm just, I'm flowing in the dough over here. Just absolutely crushing it. All right. Are you ready for my free agent here as we wrap up the show?
So this is your free agent that you liked initially as you were doing research, or the more research you did, it kind of soured on you a little bit, but I'll let you explain.
Right. So I was looking at, starting my research today on what are we going to talk about, yada, yada. It's like, who's out there? Top free agents. Let's see how they're ranking them. And this guy was ranked number 3. All right. DeAndre Hopkins was 1. Dalvin Cook was 2. I'm not going to name him right now. You have 3 cornerbacks, by the way, right after him. Isaiah Rodgers, Marcus Peters, and Ronald Darby, which is just interesting to me. And then the guy that everybody's been talking about to the Bears, which maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, Yannick Ngakoue was 7. All right. So, he's sitting out there, listed 3rd. And then I'm looking at quotes he's saying as far as he's 30 years old, but you got anything left in the tank? And quote, a lot. I'll show you. We'll see. There are a lot of guys that can't outdo me right now. I won't talk about it, even though he's talking about it right now. I don't like to toot my own horn. I just like to show up and show out. I'm looking to bounce back this year. I'm not really worried about no timetable or where I end up or how it goes. I just want to play the game I love. You want guys that love the game of football, right? 2 years ago, he had 9 sacks. All right. 9 sacks is cool. Now, last year, he only had 2. And in his 9-year career, he's played 1 full season. So he's been banged up a lot. And in his last 4 seasons, he spent them with 3 different teams. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it the guy I just put in the chat over here?
Yes, that's correct. Yes,
okay.
I am talking about Jadeveon Clowney. Okay. So he had 2 sacks last year with the Browns. He complained about the coaching staff that he wasn't used right. He made $8 million last year. He's sitting out there. He's, his best year. The 9 sacks came when he was playing opposite Myles Garrett. The Bears don't have a Myles Garrett, so we can't expect some huge impact guy. But he's at least, I think, arguably the the best player available that plays the edge position, unless you want to pick Ngakoue. And by the way, I'm not opposed to both of them, and which would take away snaps from guys like do the Bears want to set up opportunities for Travis Gibson and Dominique Robinson along with DeMarcus Walker to get to the quarterback here because they want to see it, or do they want to bring in a vet and try to win football games and see what they could squeeze out? I mean, that's got to be the biggest question. But Clowney, I was getting myself excited, then I got unexcited by the end of it because, I don't know, 2 sacks last year. He's as I said earlier, he's complaining about the coaching staff. That ain't great. And, ultimately, like, yes, the Bears are trying to win football games this year, but like, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure if it's worth tying up, a bunch of snaps for a guy who is obviously past his prime. So I'm a little iffy on it. But what's your thoughts on Jadeveon Clowney?
Yeah, I think if let's say we're comparing Jadeveon Clowney and Yannick Ngakoue, I think you're almost looking at to how you would maybe even present a contract to one of these guys. It would be like maybe a 1-year deal for Jadeveon Clowney because of the age and because Yannick Ngakoue is 25, 26. You would almost do maybe a longer term deal with a guy like that who has his issues in itself. But I almost feel like at this point, without really looking into Jadeveon Clowney, you're almost paying for the name as opposed to what he is capable of doing. And we just, like you said, he's only played 1 full season since he's been drafted in the league, and he can be a productive player, but are you going to get that? And I just don't know. Maybe you do get more of a better version of Jadeveon Clowney because the Bears are going to have a heavy rotation of defensive linemen. So he doesn't have to be out there all the time. But for me, I don't think the Bears would go, if they were to pick one of the two, Clowney or Ngakoue, I think it would be Ngakoue. But he does have his issues with stopping the run, and we all know that, but he still can get to the quarterback like as one of the best players that can actually get into the quarterback since he entered the league. I think he's tied for 7th among players since 2016 in terms of sacks. So he's a guy that has a very niche role, but it's a role that the Bears currently don't have right now.
A creative 2-year deal for Ngakoue, you doing that? And let me throw this in there too. The Bears could look at this like, 1-year deals, or even, one with some money tied into next year that they can get out of. And if they're not in it at the deadline, then you're flipping these guys for later round picks, a la Robert Quinn. Get yourself a 4th round pick, and next year's draft is, any year is fine, but next year's draft is supposed to be an incredibly strong draft. I mean, why not use the money that you have right now to build assets that might gain you more assets down the road if literally that's the only thought?
No, I mean, that's a good point too, Mark. I think as you're looking to whatever they want to do, like I'm also seeing the name Marvin Ingram. What about Justin Houston? I know that was a guy that you brought up earlier too on another show. Like I'd be all right if they signed a veteran that is well past his prime, but that can provide at least 1 year of pass rush, where the Bears have 2 first-round draft picks next year. And if they want to go get their future pass rush, they can do that. But I'm okay with the Bears going that route as well, like an Ingram, a Justin Houston, just to kind of have a little bit more of a, I don't know if stability is the right word or just a veteran presence who's done it before, but I'm okay with that option as well.
Yeah, and rankings are rankings. I'm the Justin Houston thing. He's 34 years old, but he's been a productive player, which is why I've been throwing that out there. Plus the Kansas City connection. You always make that with polls, but we haven't seen a ton of that. But Houston's ranked the 25th best free agent out there. Ingram is 27. And as I was going down this list, it's just interesting where former Bears end up. Michael Schofield is 35th. Robert Quinn, they rank at 38. I would put Quinn ahead of Schofield personally, but that's just interesting. It's just kind of fun to look at. And then as you go down the road, the 49th best free agent out there is 28-year-old Al-Qadin Muhammad. The 50th The 3 in a row here. 50th is Byron Pringle. The 51st is N'Keal Harry. 55, DeAndre Houston Carson. I mean, just bear a plenty at the bottom of the free agent list, just underlining what the roster was last year.
Yeah, those are guys that they had to try to, almost win with. And now they're at the, again, a list, but they're at the bottom end of this list of teams that obviously they haven't been signed for a reason. So, and again, the Bears are away from that. And now they're hopefully trending in a better direction with the talent that they currently have on the roster.
Real quick, I'm just a little miffed that, Carm, you had said you wanted to brand this segment. I thought, it really rolled off the tongue what you wanted to call this.
That's,
what happened? I had the graphic ready and everything.
So what was it called? That is a bad job by me. I completely agree. Excellent underlining. And I believe what I wanted to name this was something along the lines of Carm's Holiday Free Agent Wish List Player of the Day. Was that it?
Really rolls off the tongue. It just looks good on a graphic. I think that's great branding. Never seen a better branded segment in my life.
Yeah, I thought that this was, I'm going through my day and I'm like, why can't we just do Carm's Holiday Free Agent Wish List Free Agent? I'm bringing back another one on Wednesday, baby.
So I need to save that graphic. Okay, good to know.
Yes.
Yeah. And Doug Van Dorn, you're funny, Carm, had a clowny take.
That's good.
Are we playing this video or are we not playing this video?
We are not playing that video. It is a terrible video. We're going to save you a little embarrassment. You can put it on your own Twitter because I know you want to do that, or the Bears Twitter, whatever. But no, I'm not playing that on the show. Also, possible rights issues with the fact that it's a Beatles song, and I don't think Sir Paul would like me to play that. So.
There you go. All right, I'll consider putting it out there. I don't know. I don't. The upside on that one. If you're
thinking about it this much, Mark, I don't know if it's the greatest idea.
Excellent underlining, Nick. I'm just gonna send it to you so I can get somebody some humor out of this, and you can not put that out there, or else, yeah. All right, $2 super chat from my guy Leroy Pinkston on the way out of here. Carm for president. See, and no, Gary Ross, I will not be sending you this video. You spend too much time on Twitter and every other social media thing for me to feel safe to move this around. Plus, you're very well connected, and next thing you know, somebody that I've never heard of will have it out there, and I'll be wondering if Ross moved it along. But next time I see you, Gary, you can watch it on my phone, which I'm sure will be sooner than later because, damn it, the season's coming around. I don't know how many days it is, but I feel like a tailgate any moment now. Hey, for real, be safe out there tonight, tomorrow, 4th of July. Enjoy it, and we appreciate everybody that you are a true CHGO Bears diehard being with us today. So thank you so much. It's awesome to see everybody. Nick, any big plans tonight? You going over to Braggs' house?
I am unfortunately not going to Braggs' house. Going to go visit the grandparents, and family will be there. So just a little cookout, but nothing too big planned. What about yourself?
I don't know. I'll probably just ride my bike.
Why don't you go to the office? Braggs is actually there right now. The Blackhawks show is in studio today. That we're all remote except, unfortunately, the Blackhawks. There's a big prospect camp, so they're right down the street. So they said, let's just do the show there. And Braggs is like, sign me up. So he's currently producing White Sox, remote.
Hey.
Blackhawks next. And then following that, he's got the Bulls. Braggs is killing it on that side of things.
See, that's the type of teammate that you want. The when you don't have the talent, at least you have the work ethic.
Wow. Look at the shirt you're wearing.
Kidding.
How can you say that? Look at the shirt you're wearing. Show off that shirt.
Brick by brick, baby. You know I'm joking. You talented. You're a hard worker. You're an ideal teammate. We all love you. Happy 4th, everybody. Nick's taking a couple of days off, so I'm back with Braggs on Wednesday. We may have a special guest in studio. I'm not on. That's not entirely confirmed at this point, but I'm working on it. So stay tuned. But either way, it's going to be a great show on Wednesday. Enjoy the 4th, everyone. Thank you for watching CHGO Bears. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.